Good evening. Okay, what next? You were absent the other day. Why? I went out. Okay, so we finished with that chapter on cell. What are the question answers that we have completed? Just give him, you'll have to copy that. We have missed out with the question answers, you'll have to go through. What did we complete? Plant cell did we draw? Yes, we are done with the plant cells. And the question answers, how many question answers we have done that day? 4 we did, no? Which were those questions given? You'll have to copy. Did you ask? So far you were sitting there, you should have asked him, no, that what are some question answers done. This work, what you missed the other day, you'll have to complete. I'll give you 5 minutes, right now. The diagram of the plant cell you will complete at home. And the question answers in 5 minutes, whatever complete work. By the time, what is the next chapter in your school started? Tissues. Nothing, no? Tissues, okay. So we'll also start with tissues then. So you read the part on animal tissues. By the time I start, read the part on animal tissues. Where's your textbook? I asked you to get your textbook. Textbook. The other day also I told you, get your textbook. Not only the volume, you will get your textbook. ICSE students' textbook is a must. I'll give you just 5 minutes to go to complete the question answers, and you read animal tissues. Read that part. I'll start with animal tissues. Done. Diagram you will draw at home. Only the question answer stay down. How much left?
Last question.
So we'll start with tissues now. Okay, plant and animal tissue. That is the chapter. Write down the head of the chapter in your notebook. Fresh next page. plant and animal tissues. That is the chapter on plant and animal tissues we are going to study. So first of all, what are the divisions? What is the definition of the word tissue? We will start with this. What is the definition of the word tissue? What is the definition? Are you aware?
Group of cells.
And?
Group of cells which have a particular function.
And?
Similar function.
And? Group of cells which are similar in their structure and perform a common function. That is a tissue. So what is the definition of the word tissue right now? We will define the word tissues. Tissue definition is important. Tissues, write on the name, plant and animal tissues, and write on the definition. Tissues. Tissues are a group of cells. Tissues are a group of cells. Tissues are a group of cells similar or dissimilar in structure. Similar or dissimilar. They may not be same also in the structure. Tissues are a group of cells similar or dissimilar in their structure and perform a common function. And perform a common function. And perform a common function. Okay, perform a common function. Now, the different types of tissues in this chapter that we are going to study would be the plant and the animal tissue. So let us study what are the divisions of the plant tissue. So if I have to start with the plant tissues, what are the divisions of the plant tissues? Plant tissues to start with. First of all, only let us try understanding the divisions. The types we are going to study later. The plant tissues. What are the types of the plant tissues? The divisions, plant tissues would be divided into two major types. What are the two major types? One is meristematic. And what is the other one? Permanent. Plant tissues, two types, meristematic and permanent. You will write this flow chart. The divisions you will write, then we are going to start with the animal tissues. So meristematic and permanent. Meristematic tissues again of two types. Meristematic tissues again of two types. What are those two types? One is apical meristers. And the next type of meristems is known as cambium, that is lateral meristems. Permanent tissues, two types. First of all, simple permanent and complex permanent. Permanent tissues of two types, simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent again of three main types. Simple permanent, one is parenchyma, one is collenchyma, and the third is sclerenchyma. Okay, these are the types. First of all, just to get acquainted with the names. Complex tissues, two types. One is xylem and the other is phloem. So we will study the plant tissues later. We have studied plant tissues earlier also. In the 5th standard, 6th standard we have studied. No, 6th or 7th we have studied plant tissues. Animal tissues in detail we will first study. So what are the subdivisions of the animal tissues? Let us know. Animal tissues have got 4 subdivisions. Animal tissues have 4 subdivisions. What is the first one? The first one is epithelial. The first one is epithelial tissues. The second type of tissues are connective tissues. The third type of tissues are muscular. And the fourth type of tissues are nervous. So I start with the nervous tissues. The subdivisions of the animal tissues we will write later because there are many. Subdivisions of epithelial and connective and muscular nervous we are not writing now because the subdivisions are many. So I start with the first type of tissues, that is nervous tissue. So I'm going to start with the nervous tissues. So go to the next page, nervous tissues. Write down the head, nervous tissues. Take out your pencils and draw this diagram. Take out your pencils, draw this diagram. We'll learn about the nervous tissues and the neuron. Take out your pencils, complete this diagram. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Finish your diagram. Done? Okay, Afi. Next is, are you aware about the functions? Did you study about the neuron earlier? No? What? No. We studied no, in the 7th. Then this is also revision only for you. So let us talk about the animal tissues. Which type of animal tissues we are talking about? We are talking about animal tissues, that is the nervous tissues we are talking about. So as I talk about the animal tissues, we started discussing about the nervous tissues. What are the major parts? What is the nervous tissue made up of? Talking about the nervous tissue, can you tell me where is the nervous system present all over the body? Where is the nervous system present? Can I say only in the brain or only in the hand or only in the leg? No. Nervous system is all over the body. What is the nervous system made up of? The nervous system is made up of the neurons, also known as nerve cells. Neuron or the nerve cells. So this is a diagram of the neuron that we have drawn. The neuron or the nerve cells. What was the definition of the word neuron that you had learned? Do you remember still the definition of the word neuron that you had learned? Neuron. Neurons are always defined as what? Neuron. The definition of neuron always is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. You have to write this. Structural and functional unit. Structural and functional unit of nervous system. That is the definition of the nerve cell or the neuron. Define neuron. That will be a common question. Define neuron. What to write? Define neuron. The structural and the functional unit of nervous system is known as neuron. The structural and the functional unit of nervous system is known as neuron. So what are the parts of the neuron? Let us see, and their functions. What are the parts of the neuron? The parts of the neuron, just check, we have drawn just now. The parts of the neuron, major parts to understand first. Major parts to understand first. I talk about the dendrites. What are dendrites? From the diagram you see, the dendrites are the short hair-like processes. Many, numerous for a neuron always. The dendrites are the short hair-like processes. They are numerous for a neuron. What do they do? What is the job of the dendrites? The job of the dendrites is to receive information. What is the job of the dendrites? The job of the dendrites is to receive information. But information now, in the 9th standard, you will have to write in the form of specific words. What is that? Stimuli. What is the meaning of the word stimuli? What is stimuli? Stimuli from the word stimulus. So I know what is the job of the dendrites. We want to know what is the function of each of those parts. So the first important part of the neuron, I want to understand dendrites. What are these dendrites? These dendrites are fine hair-like processes, numerous in number, and their function is to receive information, also known as stimulus. What is the meaning of the word stimulus? Any information in the external or the internal environment. What is stimulus? Stimulus refers to any information. Stimulus refers to information in the external or internal environment. Information in the external or internal environment of the neuron. Can you tell me right now what is the stimulus for your neurons? What can be the example of stimulus? I just now said, what is stimulus? What are the neurons receiving right now for you? The neurons of your eye receiving the light. The neurons of your eye also able to see all this because of light. The neurons of your ear receiving my voice, which is acting as a command for you, directions for you, instructions for you. So now that we know what is the meaning of the word stimulus, all these, light, sound, okay, and what else now? Apart from light, sound in this room, all throughout the day, if I talk about what can be the other examples of stimulus, smell, touch, meaning anything to which we respond, that is stimulus. Do you respond to touch, prick, pressure? Yes. Do you respond to smell? Yes. Do you respond to light? Yes. Do you respond to sound? Yes. So all this information that our neurons respond to, that our body responds to, that our neurons receive and we respond to, that is what is known as stimulus. So what is the definition of the word stimulus? Stimulus refers to any information in the external or the internal environment of the neuron. What is the job of the dendrites? Receive stimulus. The next is what? The next important part of the neuron is the cyton. What will the cyton do? The cyton will prepare the axon. Now what? These dendrites have received some information. Now the information has reached here. It is a cell. The information has reached here. In what form? Nothing, in the form of some waves, that's it. The sound is reaching your neurons. How? In the form of some structure? No. Just in the form of some waves. That's it, no? So this information the dendrites receive and they transmit it here. They transmit here. Now from here, the information has to run down the entire length of the axon and then go to the next neuron. And then go to the next neuron. So now, what will be the job of the cyton? The cyton will release enzymes. A whole lot of enzymes. Now that the information is reached, now that the dendrites have received the sound, yes, the sound has reached here, the sound has reached here, the sound has reached here. Once the sound has reached here, the cyton, what will it do? Release enzymes, which will run down the entire length of the axon. Clear? So what are you supposed to write down? What is the function of the cyton? The function of the cyton is prepare the axon to carry the impulse. Prepare the axon to carry the information. That is the job of the cyton. Prepare the axon to carry the information. All these functions you write down in your notebook. So cyton, what is the job? The job of the cyton is to carry the information or to prepare the axon to carry the information. Third, what is the third part? The third part is the axon. Structurally, the axon is just one single long thread-like structure. It is a single long thread-like structure. Only one. One neuron will have only one, not more than one at all. A single neuron will always have only one single axon, nothing more than that. And then This axon, what is its role? Its function is it will conduct the impulse. Conduction of the impulse, meaning carry the information further. So the function of the axon always be right. Conduction of the impulse. Conduction of impulse. What is the meaning of the word impulse? What is impulse? Impulse means the wave of the information. Impulse means the wave of information. The wave of the information. Did you ever see ripples in a water body? Did you ever do that on your own? You are sitting near a lake and you throw some pebbles on the lake. Did you ever see some rings and rings and rings are formed? These are known as ripples. So now when we are talking about the ripples in a water body, what happens? The moment you throw the stone, the circle starts forming from that center, no? And then spread up, just like small circles and circles. Did you ever observe that? If not in real, in pictures or somewhere you must have seen. So now the information that we get by the way of our neuron is exactly the same like that. What is happening now that I am talking? The neurons of your ear, which part of the neuron is receiving the sound? Dendrites. Dendrites, no? The neurons in the ear, the dendrites are receiving the sound, and from the dendrites, the message is just moving all throughout the neuron. This is the form of a wave message. So that's why it is always compared that way, just like ripples in a pond, ripples in a lake. How it would generally pass on from one central region to spread up like that. So now that we are talking about conduction of the impulse. Conduction of the impulse. So now, what is the job of the axon? The job of the axon is conduction of impulse. And now that we are talking about what is the meaning of the word impulse, it is a wave of information. Why are we saying wave? Because yes, it is in the form of a wave that it is moving from one region to the other. But can you see there, now that I talk about the word stimulus, I have been talking about this one word stimulus and the other word impulse. What is the difference? You understand? Stimulus is the information that the dendrites receive. Then what is impulse? Impulse is the information that the axon carry. Are they of the same form? No, they are not of the same form. This is in the form of some sound waves, and this is only in the form of some chemicals moving inside the neuron. Okay. Now, can you tell me, look into the diagram and tell me some structural difference between the dendrites and the axon. Dendrites, they are short, axon is long. Dendrites, numerous, axon is one single. Apart from that, now let us talk about the other protective structures. Neurolemma. Can you see this? Neurolemma. What is neurolemma? Neurolemma is the outer protective layer of the axon. Neurolemma is the outer protective layer of the axon. What is the need for the protection? So that the message can pass through without getting lost on its way. So if the neurolemma is not there, and next to the neurolemma, can you see the myelin sheath there? This is a very important part of the neuron again. Myelin sheath. What is this myelin sheath doing? This myelin sheath that I talk about, this myelin sheath plays a very, very important role. What is that one word that you should always know that goes with myelin sheath? One word that always goes with myelin sheath is myelin sheath acts as an insulator. What is the meaning of the word insulator? No, does not allow transfer of heat. Okay, so I would talk about insulator. For example, I talk about this. Okay, now if I talk about this rubber casing, those plastic tubes. Did you see those plastic tubes near the wires? I would say that is also an insulator. Why? The copper wires which are carrying current surrounding the copper wires, what is there? The rubber tubes. That is also an insulator. Surrounding the rubber tubes, the plastic case, that is also an insulator. Do you know why these rubber tubes and plastic cases are given? Why are these? Why not straight away the copper wires running from the switch to the tube? Why there is a need of the rubber tube? Why there is a need of the plastic case?
To prevent shock.
To prevent shock and to prevent the loss of the charges. If this plastic case and the rubber tube would not have been there, directly only the copper wires would have been there. You put on the light, maybe now after 2-3 seconds the light would have lit, and on top of that the intensity would not be that much, the strength would not be that much, it would have been quite feeble. Maybe for an 80-watt bulb also the light would not be that much. Q, because right from the switchboard when the charges flow, so much will be lost on the way, no? So I would say the rubber tubing and the plastic casing is acting as an insulator. What is the job of an insulator then? Prevents the loss of charges. If I talk about the electric wire, same here. What is the job of this myelin sheath? The job of this myelin sheath is it prevents the loss of impulses. What is the meaning? So the impulse which runs from here, the message which has started running down from here, if the myelin sheath not there, let me understand. In one particular region, the myelin sheath not there, the neurolemma not there, then what will happen? Then possible that the messages will be lost this way. And if the messages are lost in a number of regions like this, then will the message reach at the exon terminals in its 100% efficiency? No, then maybe only 70% messages are reached. So try to understand what I am saying is that what is the job of the neurolemma? Protection of the exon. On top of that, what is the job of the myelin sheath? The job of the myelin sheath is prevent the loss of impulses. Then if the loss of impulses are there, then how are we understanding? How are we supposed to understand that the loss of impulses are there? Then by the time you get the message, by the time you receive the stimulus, and by the time you show the response, is it supposed to take a longer time then? If there is no myelin sheath, you receive the information and you show the response. Will it be very prompt? No, it will be slow. With all the myelin sheath intact, you receive the message and you show the response. Will it be rapid? Yes, because messages are running down faster, messages are running down without getting lost on the way. So something like, for example, if I ask you that take out your notebook, message received, no, by your neurons of the ear. Take out your notebook. If myelin sheath is there, how to understand? If myelin sheath is there, take out your notebook. The moment I say, immediately your hand starts showing response. Myelin sheath not there, then what? Take out your notebook. Your hand will show the response maybe after some 10-12 seconds. So immediately that response is not there. Why immediately that response is not there? Because on the way from the ear till the hand, the neurons which doesn't have the myelin sheath, message is lost. So 100% messages did not go there at the end of the exon terminals. So that is what we understand. What is the job of the myelin sheath? Acts as an insulator, meaning prevents the loss of messages. The last part that we have to talk about is the node of Ranvier. What is the node of Ranvier? In our neurons, the neurolemma that we get to see, or the myelin sheath that we get to see, is not continuous. It is interrupted, broken at certain regions. And this regions where the exon is exposed. Can you see here? If I draw this particular region little bit magnified, will not we see that the exon is exposed here? Yes, the exon, little bit region where the exon is exposed. This particular region where the myelin sheath is broken, exon is exposed. This is known as the node of Ranvier. Something more, the Schwann cell. What is Schwann cell? What is the job of the Schwann cell? It is this Schwann cell which is producing this layer of fatty tissue. What is this? The myelin sheath. What is the myelin sheath made up of? the myelin sheath is made up of some fatty tissue, and this fatty tissue is produced by the Schwann cells. Next one. Next is the Nissl granules. Can you see this? The Nissl granules. What are these Nissl granules for? Let us finish a little bit faster. What are these Nissl granules for? The Nissl granules, when we look into the cytone part of a neuron, the cytone of a neuron, the cytone of a neuron or the cell body, this particular region is known as a cell body. No? The color of the cell body, and what is this color? If I talk about the axon, what is the color of the axon? White. But what is the color of the cytone? The color of the cytone is silvery gray. It has got a grayish color, silver color. And that's the reason the upper region of the uppermost region of a brain is also silverish gray in color. So when we are talking about why the silverish gray color, because the cytone has got some granules. What are these granules called? Nissl granules. What is the job of these Nissl granules? Impart color. What type of a color? Silverish gray color to the cytone. What is the other word for the cytone? This also you have to take a note. The other word for the cytone is perikaryon. Perikaryon is the other word for the cytone. Please take down the difference between the dendrites and the axon. Right, fast. We'll finish with this fast. Difference between dendrites and the axon. Take a column fast. Difference between dendrites and axon. Structure and function, both you should know. You will get questions. Difference between dendrites and axon. Under dendrites, you write short branched processes, numerous, numerous in a neuron. Numerous in a neuron. Other side, axon, single long process, in a neuron. Second difference, dendrites. They receive stimulus, that is heat, light, sound, etc. They receive stimulus. Other side, axon. They conduct impulse. Next question you write down. What is the function of myelin sheath? What is the function of myelin sheath? The myelin sheath is a layer of fatty deposit surrounding the axon. Myelin sheath is a layer of fatty deposit surrounding the axon, which prevents the loss of impulse and acts as an insulator, which prevents the loss of impulse and acts as an insulator. Okay, so this 2 or 3 questions definitely you should be knowing, and define stimulus and impulse. What is the definition of stimulus? Did you write down this? Lecture points you have written down, so this much is enough for you. What is the meaning of the word stimulus? What is the meaning of the word impulse? So this much only for the nervous tissues to study. Next, we'll have to study, we'll complete with the animal tissues first. So I started with the nervous tissues. Next class, we are going to study the muscular and the connective tissues. Okay. Textbooks are must, again I am telling you. Next class you have to get, because in the textbook there are exercises. You have to do those exercises. Question answers from the textbook also you have to complete. Okay, next class.